Very pleased to say I'm joined now by Gail Kim. Gail, thank you so much for taking time to chat to us.
Of course, anytime. Especially since you traveled so far to get here, right?
Just for you. We're here, it's WrestleCon, it's WrestleMania weekend. It must still be exciting after all these years.
It is, and you know what? Like every year, of course, we love our domestic fans, but for WrestleCon, it's always the excitement for me is meeting all the international fans because this is pretty much the time when they'll come out. I've already met fans from places I've never even met fans from, Kuwait, Hungary, Israel. There's a couple that I've actually never met before, so it was pretty cool. I love it.
Now, you are, of course, a former WWE Women's Champion, a 7-time, I think, Women's Knockout Champion, and now an Impact producer. How your career has spanned an amazing amount of time, and you've done so many amazing things.
I've been so fortunate because you just never know in wrestling when it can end. And, you know, when you leave a company, the first time when I got fired by WWE, my very first run, I literally quit wrestling for almost a year because my passion was so killed. And then, of course, TNA brought it back, and I've been so fortunate to do it this long and to stay in the business after I'm retired. It makes me not miss it, you know, because a lot of people are asking me, now that you're retired, do you miss the in-ring action? And I'm like, I actually don't, because I just love my role. I really do.
Yeah, it's one of those things that obviously you see a few people transition well into. Is that nice? Yeah, like you say, you keep yourself involved in the business.
Yes, and I don't have to hurt myself. You know, my body is hurting. I'm 42 now, and that was part of the decision-making process was that I told myself, I'm like, okay, I'm about 40, over 40, and I've accomplished everything I want to, so what's the next step? And I was lucky enough, like I said, to be able to work with the girls, so.
Now, it's fair to say that you've got a bit of a checkered history with WWE, but winning the women's title in your very first match, what was that like?
Oh, a blur. I mean, it really was a blur. I remember not believing it when they told me, and it's just, I wasn't ready for it, to be honest. I wasn't. So in some ways, I look back and I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful to have had that historical moment. But at the same time, I kind of wish I got to fight for it and fight my way up, you know, and have that moment mean a lot more. So that's why the Knockouts title means so much to me, because it was literally a begging and fighting for that women's division, and then having that moment come after all those years. That was special.
I want to talk more about the development of women's wrestling in a second, but of course you were also the first female inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame. It's another proud achievement.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one that, you know, you always look for. You want the fans to love you, of course, and respect your work, but when it comes from your peers and it comes from the fans as well, like a collective thing, it gives you that validation, I guess. And I'm sure everyone in life likes validation. I always had the goal of being the best female wrestler. Like, I wanted to be known as the best, if not one of the best. And that was, I guess, my validation in some way, right?
You were incredibly groundbreaking for women's wrestling, and we've seen the way it's developed in the WWE in the last few years and in the industry for more than that. When you were growing up, who were the people you looked up to?
Oh boy, like very little. I loved Tito Santana, so I love like that quick pace, you know. And then women-wise, Trish is from Toronto,
yeah.
So I knew her as a fitness model, and I saw what she was doing. I was like, wow, she's from Toronto. And then I saw all the girls doing what they did at that time. It was like Trish, Lita, Victoria, Jazz, all these people who are so talented in the ring. And of course, Molly Holly, she caught my eye, and I was just like, wow, she does not move like anyone I've ever seen. I just adored her. I looked up to her. I got the chance. She gave me my break in this business. I couldn't have asked for a better role model, to be honest. Yeah.
And having seen the way that the industry has changed, or women's wrestling in the industry has changed over the last few years, how does that make you feel?
I'm so happy. And people are like, don't you wish that you're a part of that? And of course I do.
I think you were one of the catalysts for it.
I think that this is the way I look at it. You're put on this earth for a reason, and when I look back at my career, and yes, of course, I would love to be part of a generation that is like all women's wrestling, but if I look back, that's what made me stick out, because there wasn't much women's wrestling, and I had something to fight for. That gave me my role in this business, and I'm just really glad. I've seen many generations come and go, and right now women's wrestling is the strongest it's ever been, and I'm so happy for those girls who get to do it, because I know what it feels like to want to do it. And so they're main eventing WrestleMania. I mean, what a culmination of this moment. It's amazing.
And I think it's fair to say as well that there was discussion last year around WrestleMania when Ronda Rousey came in, and everyone was saying it's probably going to be Ronda versus Charlotte main eventing WrestleMania last year. Is it even better the fact that they aren't doing it because it's Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte? It's not because of the names. They have earned this main event.
Absolutely. And like Becky is a perfect example of someone who did it on her own. She was a great, solid worker, but they never really utilized her as a top girl, and she made that happen. She got herself over. The fans have spoken. So, you can't deny the fans when they're that strong in terms of supporting her. So I'm really happy for her.
Yeah, if she hadn't been in that main event, we would have rioted.
I know you would have, and that's great, and that's what I love about the fans.
A lot of people at the moment are, of course, talking about the WWE in relation to the John Oliver piece on Last Week Tonight, and I know you've said your piece on it, and I saw you commenting on Twitter, because I was chatting to people earlier about it, and they were saying, well, isn't it just the same as in Impact Wrestling? And you pointed out it's not the same, because you're independent contractors, but you can go and work other dates.
Yes, exactly. So it's I look at Impact Wrestling, it's my life, but at the same time, it's part-time hours, and I am allowed to fulfill that with other companies or signings as I please. But in WWE, you literally give your life to them. You're living, sleeping, breathing, thinking, wrestling for WWE. And if you're an independent contractor, it's just the term alone, it's so the opposite end of the spectrum. And so that's the part I don't like, that they try to control every aspect of your life, but yet you gotta be an independent contractor. It just makes no sense.
You've made so many valid points, not just recently, but over the years when it comes to WWE. Do you think something like this, the exposure that they've received and the mainstream attention, I'd say, they've received from this, could be the catalyst for change, or do you think they're quite stuck in their ways? I mean, it's taken a while for women's wrestling.
I think they're hoping that it'll be brushed under the rug, to be honest. I think that the wrestlers need to come together, or the fans have to speak out, which we would love the fan support, but it would be difficult. They just love to watch the brand and the product. I hope that there's change one day, and who knows, when maybe Hunter takes over. I don't know. I'm hoping for change. I hope that there's change in terms of the way that they book ethnic talent. Mm-hmm. I hope that they can see them as a person that can carry the company one day, especially with the females, because there's so many great Japanese girls over there. I'm literally worried about them and how they're going to be used. I want them to. They're probably the strongest bunch in terms of talent there in the ring.
It's almost like they've only just discovered them, though.
It's just weird. I just hope that they don't just throw them all together and do the normal stereotypical thing. I would love to see them used to their full capability.
Huge fan of the Sky Pirates. Io Shirai is a phenomenal wrestler. They need to recognize, I mean, they've arguably struggled to work out outside of NXT what makes Asuka, and that's something they need to reconsider.
Yeah, and that was, I don't get to follow the product so much, but I can follow everything on social media, and I know what's going. Like, I was in an event, and my phone started blowing up about Asuka, because they know how I feel about it, and they're like, "You're right, Gail. You're right." I'm like, well, we'll see what happens down the road, and maybe there's a bigger picture. But normally, I'm disappointed when I'm hoping for a bigger picture. So, like the Kurt Angle match at WrestleMania, I'm not happy about it, and I'm very vocal about it. Kurt, to me, is like, his wife calls me Mini Kurt, because I just look up to him, the type of human being he is, the type of wrestler he is. He is such a good man. He has had such a decorated career, and I believe it looks like they booked him in this match for spite of going to TNA, and I could be wrong, but that's what it appears to be. And I that's the part I can't handle, and that's why I'm so vocal, because I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm living in a fairy tale that I want things to be.
It's refreshing to hear wrestlers speak out against WWE.
But the problem is, like you said, with the John Oliver, that's why that was so refreshing, because it came from an outside person that people actually listen to and know that it's not. because the normal go-to for fans who love WWE is you're bitter if you're an ex-employee.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm retired. I'm just speaking the truth, and I would love for things to change in the business.
You say you're retired, but I read on social media
One more match.
you are coming out of retirement to face Tessa Blanchard at Rebellion.
Yes.
How much are you looking forward to that?
I'm really looking forward to it. I have taken a year and a bit off, so I've been busting my butt, getting in that ring, working on my cardio because she's a top-notch athlete. I mean, I'm going to have to bring it, so I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Final question, Gail. We've been asking everyone at WrestleCon this today. The Hulk Hogan Hulk Hogan film, I should say, is coming out, and
What's the film?
it's I think it's Chris Hemsworth, I think, playing Hulk Hogan
yes.
in the film.
Okay, I
yes.
heard about that.
So, as a result of that, who would play Gail Kim in a film about your life?
Ooh, there's so many good Asians now that can kick butt. I mean, everyone goes to, a lot of people are like Lucy Liu, and she's very good. Honestly, I like her because she's probably somewhere around my age, and she's very good at being a badass. I like it. I like it a lot.
She could definitely pull it off.
Yeah, I like it.
Gail, it's been an absolute pleasure to you. Have a great WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, you too. You too.